Hello, and a very warm welcome to the English Story Nook. We are so glad you could join us for another story. Today, we're diving into a story about the challenges of returning to work after a wonderful vacation. Get ready to discover a story about a woman who starts to see her job in a new way and must decide what is truly important to her. Before we begin, if you enjoy our stories and want to help us create more, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the English Story Nook. You can also support us by buying a coffee. The link is in the description below. Every little bit of support helps us continue our mission to make learning English enjoyable for everyone. And now to the story. The coffee machine Brews regrets. The first scent that greeted Maria Lungi on her return to Telperinque Analytics wasn't the recycled, air-conditioned chill she'd been expecting. It was the bitter, slightly burnt aroma of the office coffee machine, a smell that stood in stark, unwelcome contrast to the crisp, pine-scented mountain air she had been breathing for the past 2 weeks. The once familiar hum of the office now felt like a dull roar, and the tasks awaiting her on her computer seemed painfully mundane. Just last week, her greatest challenge had been navigating a rocky trail. Now, it was facing 347 unread emails. This jarring return to reality was the first crack in her post-vacation calm. "Welcome back to the land of the living," a voice cut through her thoughts. It was her manager, Omar Sia, holding a steaming mug. He had a way of smiling that didn't quite reach his eyes. "Hope you had a good time switching off. We need you switched on. The Helios initiative has been moved up. We need to leverage your strategic skills immediately." Maria forced a smile. "Of course. It was wonderful, but I'm ready to get back to it." The words felt like a lie. The person who had felt so alive watching the sunrise from a mountain peak felt utterly disconnected from the person standing in this sterile office kitchen. The perpetual motion of the corporate world had continued without her, and now it was pulling her back in with relentless force. Later that morning, in the first briefing for the Helios initiative, Maria's unease grew. The project was pitched as a tool to enhance user well-being, yet the key performance indicators all focused on maximizing screen time and daily interactions. A clear discrepancy existed between the project's noble-sounding mission and its aggressive, data-driven execution plan. While her colleagues nodded along, Maria felt a knot tighten in her stomach. The holiday had given her a clarity she hadn't realized she was missing, and now she couldn't unsee the contradictions. She decided to address the issue, hoping her fresh perspective would be valued. During a smaller team meeting, she pointed out the conflicting goals. "If we're truly focused on well-being," she began, "shouldn't we be measuring satisfaction and reduce stress rather than just engagement? There's a significant discrepancy here." Omar's response was swift and dismissive. "We have to be pragmatic, Maria. The board wants to see growth this quarter. We can talk about feelings later. Right now, we need to deliver results." The air in the room grew thick and heavy. The atmosphere felt stifling. Her colleagues avoided her gaze, their silence a form of agreement with Omar. Maria realized that the open, collaborative environment she once valued was perhaps just an illusion. The pressure to perform erased any room for ethical debate. It was a clear signal: fall in line or be left behind. Working late one evening, surrounded by spreadsheets and project timelines, Maria had an epiphany. Staring at the glowing screen, she recalled a conversation with a woman she'd met on her hiking trip. The woman had left a high-powered legal career to open a small, sustainable guest house. "I just couldn't handle the perpetual stress," she had said. "I realized I'd become complacent, accepting a life I didn't actually enjoy." Maria saw herself in that story. For years, she had mistaken ambition for happiness, climbing a ladder without ever asking if she liked the view from the top. She had become complacent with the trade-offs, the stress, the long hours, the ethically gray areas. The next day, an email from Omar landed in her inbox. It praised the team for its aggressive forward momentum and its commitment to disruptive targets. The language was deliberately ambiguous, corporate speak that could be interpreted as either motivational or menacing. To Maria, it felt like a warning. She looked around at her team members, their faces illuminated by their monitors, and saw the early signs of burnout, the same exhaustion she had felt before her trip. They were all so focused on the mundane details of their tasks that they were missing the bigger picture. Her suspicions were confirmed when she overheard Omar on a call, boasting to someone from another department. "Once the Helios numbers come in, I'll be able to leverage this success to push for that director role," he said. The project wasn't about user well-being or even company growth. It was a vehicle for his personal ambition. The stifling pressure he was putting on the team was for his own gain. The final review meeting was scheduled for Friday. This was her last chance. Maria knew she was at a crossroads. She could remain silent, deliver her part of the presentation, and help Omar achieve his goal. Or she could speak up, risking her reputation and possibly her job. The future felt terrifyingly ambiguous, but the thought of conforming, of letting her mountaintop epiphany fade into a distant memory, was even more frightening. She had to do something. She couldn't ignore the creeping signs of team-wide burnout for the sake of an easy life. When her turn came to speak, Maria stood up, her heart pounding. She presented the official slides, her voice steady. Then, she paused. "Before we conclude," she said, looking not at Omar, but at the senior manager, Angelis Kasim Sinsin, "I've prepared an alternative forecast." She projected a new slide, one that modeled a more sustainable, user-centric approach. "This is a more pragmatic, long-term strategy. It builds loyalty and avoids the inevitable user churn that comes from engagement at all costs models." She laid out the risks of their current path, carefully choosing her words. The room was utterly silent. Omar's face was a mask of fury. Maria had challenged him, not with accusations, but with data and logic. When she finished, Angelis Kasim Sinsin leaned forward, intrigued. "Thank you, Maria. That was insightful. I'd like you to walk my team through this model next week." She didn't acknowledge Omar. Leaving the meeting, Maria didn't know what would happen next. But for the first time since her return, the air didn't feel heavy. She had traded certainty for integrity. The path ahead was unclear, but it was finally her own. That's the end of our story for today. We hope you enjoyed it. The main character had to make a very important choice about her career. We would love to know, what do you think is most important in a job? Share your ideas in the comments section. And remember to check the description box for some helpful resources to continue your practice. Thank you for joining us at the English Story Nook. Keep practicing, stay curious, and we look forward to seeing you in our next story. Happy learning, and goodbye for now.